Hello students, welcome to online chemistry classes of Sri Guru College. It is lecture number 2. Yesterday we have started learning about the surface chemistry. We define surface chemistry as the branch of chemistry which deals with phenomenon that occurs on the surface or interfaces. Interfaces, we said, it is the common boundary between two bulk phases. It is represented by putting slash or hyphen between two bulk phases. It is few molecular thicker and size depends on the area, depends on size of particles of the bulk phases. There is no interface between gas and gas because gases, they are completely visible, they form homogeneous mixture. We are talking about heterogeneous system here. The phenomenon which takes place at the interfaces are corrosion, electrode process, heterogeneous catalysis, dissolution and crystallization. And in order to study the surface chemistry, the surface should be made clean. We call it as ultra clean, very clean. Ultra clean means very clean. And how it is attained? By keeping the surface in a vacuum at very low pressure, 10 raised to minus 8 to 10 raised to minus 9, to avoid the interaction of that surface with the atmospheric gases like oxygen and nitrogen. Then we started learning about adsorption. We said it is the process of accumulation of molecular species on the surface than in bulk of solids or liquids. We have taken 4 examples of how this adsorption phenomenon takes place, and we said this adsorption, 2 things are involved. One is called as adsorbate, substance which accumulates, and adsorbent, the substance which provides its surface for the accumulation. And if this adsorbent is removed, we call it as the desorption. Then we compare the absorption and adsorption. Adsorption, surface phenomenon; absorption, bulk phenomenon. Adsorption, molecular species accumulates on surface. Absorption, molecular species penetrates into the substance. Adsorption, initially it is rapid, but speed will decrease, and absorption takes place at uniform speed. Then we have coined one word called as sorption. Adsorption and absorption takes place simultaneously. And we have taken 2 specific examples. Ammonia adsorb on charcoal and absorb in water, and then water vapors adsorb on silica gel and absorb into anhydrous calcium chloride. And then we have taken the example of ink and chalkstick also. If we dip the chalkstick into ink, the color molecule adsorb on the surface. Solute molecules these are, and solvent molecules penetrates into the chalk piece. If we cut the chalk piece, color is only on surface, and inside we get the colorless portion. Then also we talk about the cause of this adsorption. We have drawn yesterday one diagram. We explain this. We come across 2 types of molecules. One molecule in the bulk interior, surrounded by molecules from all sides, left, right, top, bottom. Attractive forces mutually balanced. But those molecules which are at the surface, left side, right side, bottom side, but no molecule from the upper side, and there are residual or unbalanced attractive forces. And we said that because of that residual unbalanced attractive forces, those surface molecules, they have tendency to attract and retain the molecular species with which they comes into contact, and the phenomenon, we call it as adsorption, takes place. So we'll write one important sentence here. If you want to know exact cause of this adsorption, we can say that unbalanced or we call it as residual attractive forces present at surface is cause of adsorption. So why adsorption is caused? Because of unbalanced or residual attractive forces present at the surface molecules. This is the exact cause, we should say. Now why we say so? Because we found that as surface area per unit mass increases, extent of adsorption also increases. So this is the correlation we are establishing here. Surface area per unit mass. If we take 1 gram of charcoal, so this is the surface area where the adsorption takes place on the surface. This is the surface of this adsorption is taking place. We will make 2 pieces of it, of one same mass per unit mass. 1 gram only will make 2 pieces, and this is the now way in which this adsorption is taking place. But you can see that addition to this area is also available adsorption, because this area is also exposed, because we have broken it down into 2 pieces, just like this is 1 piece, and if we break this is the surface area on which adsorption takes place. If we break this area and this area is also available. We said that in chemical kinetics also we refer this as surface area of reactant increases, the rate of reaction increases. The same thing, the surface is increasing, and that's why extent of adsorption is also increasing. So this surface area is responsible for increasing the adsorption, and that's why we say that the unbalanced forces increases as surface area increases, and as surface area increases, extent of adsorption increases. So this is main basic reason for the adsorption, unbalanced residual attractive forces present at the surface. Now we'll go into detail of thermodynamic parameters of this adsorption. Yes, this is again the part where frequently questions has been asked. Thermodynamic parameters of the adsorption. First we talk about the enthalpy change. Of adsorption. We call it as, this triangle indicates change. AD means adsorption, and this H is nothing but enthalpy. Now try to understand what I am saying now. During adsorption, during adsorption, when adsorption starts, we can say unbalanced forces of attraction decreases, because previously the unbalanced forces of adsorption took place. Now the bottom force is balanced by the top force, so unbalanced forces are neutralizing, they are getting balanced. That's why unbalanced force of attraction decreases, and because of that surface energy also decreases, because the system is getting stabilized by the adsorption. Initially it was not stable, so energy was higher, surface energy was higher, but now they are stabilized. So we can say that the surface energy is decreasing now, and this decrease in surface energy, appears as heat. It appears, it is released in the form of heat. That's why we can say that adsorption is exothermic process. Adsorption is exothermic process. Heat is released because surface energy decreases, and that decrease in surface energy appears as the heat. So you can say delta H is negative for this adsorption, or delta H is less than 0. So question can be asked, what is the value of delta H? You can say delta H is negative, less than 0. Why? Adsorption is exothermic. Why it is exothermic? Because during adsorption surface energy decreases, decrease in surface energy appears as the heat. Heat is released, and that's why adsorption is an exothermic process. Now regarding another factor, we call it as the entropy change. Of adsorption. Entropy, we know that it is a measure of randomness of the system. We can just imagine this situation before adsorption and after adsorption. Before adsorption, these are the gas molecules. They have more freedom, they can move about because they are not accumulated. But after the adsorption, this accumulation takes place. It is on the surface. Accumulation takes place. So what we can say, the degree of freedom of molecule is greater before adsorption, and it has been decreased after the adsorption. So again we can make it out 2-3 sentences here to talk about exactly what entropy changes we are coming across in the adsorption. We can say that during adsorption, freedom of movement of molecules decreases, and that's why entropy, which is a measure of this freedom of movement, randomness, entropy decreases. The final entropy, SEF, final entropy after adsorption is less than initial entropy. Delta S, which is the SEF minus SI, and as SEF is smaller, SI is greater, we are subtracting greater number from smaller number. We can say delta S is negative, or we can say delta S is less than 0. So what happens to the entropy in the adsorption? Entropy decreases, is negative and less than 0. Why? Because freedom of movement of molecules decreases during the adsorption. So this is the entropy change of the adsorption process. Now third and important factor, thermodynamic parameter, is the Gibbs energy change of adsorption. It is Gibbs energy change of adsorption. This is denoted by this delta G of adsorption. We can say that as adsorption is spontaneous process, spontaneous, it takes place by its own accord, no external agency is required for the adsorption. We have surface, it has unbalanced process, another molecular species, they come in contact and adsorption takes place by its own. So it is spontaneous process. That's why delta G is negative. Delta G is negative for adsorption. Delta G is less than. This is the regarding the Gibbs free energy change of the adsorption. Now we can understand this in better way if we know the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation, we call it. Last year in thermodynamics, you have learned that delta G equals to delta H minus T delta S. Now this is negative. We know that because adsorption is exothermic process. This negative sign is the part of formula, and this delta S is also negative because entropy decreases. So this is negative. This negative into negative, this part is positive. If delta G has to be negative, this negative quantity should be greater in magnitude than positive quantity, isn't it? If positive is greater, this will be positive. If negative is greater, it will be negative. So this delta H should be greater than it should be more negative. We should say this enthalpy change should be more negative than the product of temperature and the entropy change. Then only it can be negative. Now, as adsorption proceeds, delta H becomes less and less negative. Now, why it becomes less and less negative? Because unbalanced processes are getting satisfied. Surface energy is being decreased, and that's why the surface energy magnitude, which is appearing of heat, has been reduced, and because of that, the delta H is also becoming less and less negative. A time will come when this delta H is equal to T delta S. If they are equal in magnitude, what will be the value of delta G? It becomes equal to 0, and we can say that state of equilibrium is attained. So before delta G is equal to 0, what is the value of delta G? Negative. Before attaining equilibrium, it is spontaneous. So precisely the same question has been asked. What is the delta G value before attaining the equilibrium? It is negative because adsorption is a spontaneous process. So what we can say? We can say that delta H negative, delta S negative, delta G negative. Delta H negative, exothermic process. Delta S negative, entropy decreases. Delta G negative, adsorption is a spontaneous process. So we should know the signs of these thermodynamic parameters regarding the process which we are calling it as the adsorption. Not at all difficult part. I have explained, I have written on board also. You might have understood this. We should know the sign and reason for it. Reason for it. Exothermic, entropy decreases, spontaneous. And that's why they have this particular sign. So this is about the thermodynamic parameters. Now we can go for type of adsorption. This is the most frequently asked part in theory as well as in MCQs also. So we have to see the types of adsorption. Now when we say types of adsorption, we are dealing only those adsorption reactions in which gas is adsorbed on the surface of solid. So you can say that adsorption of gas on solid, it can be due to two reasons. That's why we have two types of the adsorption. One may be it is due to weak van der Waals forces of attraction. Weak van der Waals, name of scientist, is not W-A-L-L, W-A-A-L, van der Waals force of attraction. Name of scientist who first pursued these forces, felt those forces and given mathematical relation, and to honor them, they have given this force as Van der Waals force. Name is given to that force. Or due to strong, yes, this is weak, this is strong, chemical bond. Which type of bond? That may be ionic or that may be covalent. When the adsorption is due to weak van der Waals forces, it is called as physical adsorption. And in short, this CAL from physical and AD from adsorption, it can be deleted and it can be called as physisorption. So physisorption is due to weak van der Waals force of attraction present between the gas and the solid. Accumulation of gas molecule on the surface of solid. Physical adsorption, CAL from physical and AD from adsorption is deleted. So we got physisorption is the word given to physical adsorption. Similarly, it is chemical adsorption. So this CAL, like here, in AD from adsorption is omitted. We can say chemisorption. So this physisorption, nothing but physical adsorption, and chemisorption, nothing but chemical adsorption. Now this requires higher activation energy for this chemical reaction. The solid molecules and the gas molecule has to be activated to enter into chemical reaction. That's why it is also called as activated adsorption. Which adsorption is called as activated adsorption? Chemical adsorption is called as activated adsorption. Why it is called as activated adsorption? Because chemical adsorption requires higher activation energy. So it is quite possible that the physical adsorption, we call it as physisorption now, may convert into chemisorption at high temperature, because if we provide enough activation to the gas molecule and solid molecules, the weak van der Waals forces may convert into the chemical quantum. Example, if this is the surface of nickel metal, and we have a hydrogen molecule. This is physical adsorption because it is a weak forces of attraction are present between these. Due to the high temperature, maybe the sufficient energy to break this bond is provided. The molecules get activated and it gets converted to chemical. What is the difference? See the difference. This old bond has been broken and this new bond is formed between the metal and the hydrogen. Interstitial hydride, we call it as in the topic hydrogen we have learned last year. Transition metals, and they have hydrogen in their lattice. We call it as interstitial hydride. So physical adsorption can be converted to chemical adsorption at the higher temperature. So we are to look into detail the characteristics of this physical adsorption and chemical adsorption. For time being, we have to remember the definition. Physical adsorption is an adsorption in which weak van der Waals force of attraction exists between adsorbate and adsorbate. And chemical adsorption, strong chemical bonds exist between adsorbate and adsorbate. Now, some characteristics are there for physical adsorption, chemical adsorption. We learn them separately and then we distinguish between them so that we can understand this in a better way. So, next part will be the characteristics of physical adsorption. Characteristics of physical adsorption. Question can be asked for 2 marks. Characteristics of physical adsorption. The first one we can see that lack of specificity. Now, what we mean by specificity? Specificity means any solid adsorbent can adsorb any gas as the adsorbent. There is no specificity between them. It means the solid surface has no preference for any particular gas molecule. That is called as lack of specificity. Now why it is so? Because we say van der Waals forces are universal. Why we say van der Waals forces are universal? Because the van der Waals force depends on molecular size. Greater molecular size, greater van der Waals forces. And every molecule has its own size, maybe smaller, maybe larger. But the van der Waals forces are exist when the substance exists as a molecule. That substance has its own van der Waals forces to get operated on the other substance. For example, if there are 2 human beings unknown to one another, but there is a relation between them. What type of relation? We say humanity that binds them together. They may not be brothers, sisters of their own, but the strangers, two strangers are related to one another by this bond of humanity. We say like that. So every two molecules, due to virtue of their existence, they are capable of exerting this van der Waals force of attraction. So we can say any solid surface does not have preference or given solid surface, we can say. That will be the proper wording. Given solid surface does not have any preference for particular gas, because van der Waals forces are universal. This is called as lack of specificity. In chemical adsorption, it will work in entirely different way, because they have to enter in chemical reaction. That's why they are highly specific. We will see their characteristic. But here, lack of specificity is one property. Another one is the nature of gas, which is adsorbed. I will write here one sentence and see how I am correlating. Easily liquefiable gases. We know that gases can be liquefied if temperature is lowered, temperature is increased, because gas state molecules are apart. If we increase pressure and increase pressure, volume will decrease. Decrease temperature, their kinetic energy will decrease, and they will come closer. And once they come closer, they become liquid. What is the difference between gas and liquid? There are many differences, but basic difference is molecules are apart in gas state. Molecules are relatively closer in the liquid state. So those gases which are easily liquefied, easily liquefiable gases, they have strong van der Waals forces. And how we come to know? By data. They have higher critical temperature. We know this word, critical temperature is the temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied on application of pressure, that definition. But the main thing is this temperature is related to the conversion of gas state to the liquid state. Higher critical temperature means at that temperature the gas is converted into the liquid state. Higher critical temperature, we call it as DC. You can say greater extent of adsorption. So those gases which are easily liquefiable, they are having strong van der Waals forces. Those gases only are having strong. I am not writing this for different gases. Those which are high, easily liquefiable, they are having strong. Those same gases have strong van der Waals forces. The same gases are having higher critical temperature, and that's why you can say they are having the greater extent of adsorption. Sulfur dioxide is adsorbed more than the ammonia, than the HCl, than carbon dioxide, than methane, than nitrogen, and that hydrogen. Sulfur dioxide easily liquefiable, most easily liquefiable in this series. It has strong van der Waals forces. Kind of polarity exists. Oxygen is more electronegative, sulfur is less electronegative. So they have that electronegative difference. They have higher critical temperature, sulfur dioxide. That's why the adsorption is greater in case of sulfur dioxide. So we can say maximum adsorption. And for hydrogen, minimum adsorption. Why hydrogen has minimum adsorption? Because hydrogen has least van der Waals force of attraction, non-polar molecule. And apart from non-polar, hydrogen is also non-polar, but size is smaller. Non-polar as well as size is smaller makes it weak van der Waals forces, makes it lower critical temperature, difficult to liquefy, and not easily adsorb. So this is one relation between all these similar terms: easily liquefiable gases, strong van der Waals forces, higher critical temperature, greater extent of absorption. These are the correlations between these gases. So this is the next property called as nature of gas. You have to make note of this because I have to rub this, I have to make space for next characteristic. The next characteristic is reversibility. Physical adsorption characteristics we are learning. Reversibility. So, physical adsorption is a reversible process. Solid and gas and this interface between solid and gas means adsorption slash the interface, and as it is exothermic process, heat is released. So we can say that this is reversible process. Physical adsorption is reversible. Physical adsorption is reversible. Or physisorption is reversible process. Now when process is reversible, by changing temperature and pressure, we can push that equilibrium to the desired side, either forward or backward. We have Le Chatelier's principle to use here in that way, but first we will see in which direction pressure is greater, in which direction temperature is greater, in which side, reactant side or product side. Now here, product side, the gas has been adsorbed on solid, so their freedom of movement has been curtailed, decreased. That's why low pressure, and gas is moving about. That's why reactant side high pressure. As the reaction is exothermic, product side we have high temperature, and in the reactant side there is no mention of heat. In fact, heat is absorbed. That's why the temperature is lower. Now, according to Le Chatelier's principle, I will make here one table to understand this. Stress applied. Stress applied means will increase pressure, increase temperature, decrease temperature. How equilibrium responds? Equilibrium shifts to which side? Reaction favored and extent of adsorption. Increase the pressure. According to Le Chatelier's principle, system in the equilibrium is subjected to change in pressure, temperature, molar concentration of reactant. The equilibrium shift in such a direction to cancel the change estimate, nullify the change estimate. So if we increase the pressure, equilibrium will shift in that direction, decrease the pressure, so that once again equilibrium will be established. Now, where is decrease in pressure here? Low pressure is in the forward direction. So, adsorption of extent of adsorption increases. in the forward direction, because this reaction, forward reaction is adsorption and the reverse reaction is desorption. So adsorption increases. Not difficult to understand. Just look into the entries I am making and explanation. Listen to it and you will come to know. Because this question will ask in MCQs. What should be done with pressure? What should be done with temperature? Increase, decrease, like that. That's why this table is important. If we decrease the pressure, equilibrium will shift in that direction where the pressure has to be increased. Now where pressure is more, high pressure is in the reverse side. So you can say reverse reaction is favored when extent of adsorption is decreased because it is desorption in the reverse side. The third is increase in temperature. The equilibrium shift in that direction where temperature decreases. Temperature decrease, low is at the reactive side. It means reverse. And reverse means extent of adsorption is lower. And if we decrease the temperature, here we are increasing, now we are decreasing. The equilibrium will shift in such a direction to increase temperature. Increased temperature, high temperature is at the forward direction. Forward. The extent of adsorption is greater. So if we want to have greater extent of adsorption, increase pressure. Greater extent of adsorption, decrease temperature, and then adsorption will be greater. If you want to decrease adsorption, decrease pressure or increase temperature. Now this is, if you are getting it difficult to understand this table, just this is common sense that we have this adsorbate and we are having this gas molecules. If we want this gas molecules to accumulate on this, what we'll do? We'll increase pressure. So increase in pressure increases the adsorption. And what happened to the temperature? We should decrease temperature. Because if we increase temperature, they have more freedom of movement. Kinetic energy is greater. They get dissolved. Decrease temperature, there is possibility that they may get adsorbed on the surface. So it's very common property, we can say. The last one, fourth, will be enthalpy of adsorption. And we can say enthalpy of adsorption is low for physical adsorption. Only 20 to 40 kilojoule per mole. Why? Because physisorption is due to weak van der Waals forces. So the unbalanced forces are not quite balanced. Surface energy decrease is very low. It appears as heat is also very low. That's why enthalpy of adsorption is very low. So just look into this table. I don't know whether all entries you can see in the table. Yes, it is visible. So just look into all these entries and these four factors. The same four factors will apply to the chemical adsorption. In the next class, the question can be asked for 2 marks. What are the characteristics of physical adsorption? We said first is not specific, nature of gas, reversible, and low enthalpy of adsorption. We will apply the same principles to the same characteristics to the chemical adsorption, and we will see how we can apply them differently, and we have to compare them, which is the most frequently asked question. Distinguish between physisorption and chemisorption. That we can do in next class. So I hope that you are understanding this simple topic. Read from textbook and listen carefully and make your own notes so that you can understand it better. So thank you for watching this video.